Sophie, a homeless woman, had been living on the streets for years after filing for bankruptcy. After losing most of her family, she was unable to get any help, but still, Sophie was a proud woman, and she refused to beg for the help of strangers. However, she didn't mind aiding others, so when Tom, a banker, was ambushed by thugs, Sophie put a stop to it. After receiving her help, Tom was willing to give her whatever she wanted. He turned pale at her request. He surely hadn't seen this coming. But what did Sophie ask from Tom? Why were he and his wife so shocked by it? And how were they going to pay her back instead? Before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Tom was walking home from work when it happened. People always asked him, "Why don't you take the car?" But he preferred walking. It was a good way to get some fresh air and move his body after sitting an entire day, which was very important to him, especially at this age. He was one of the oldest employees at the bank, but he did not want to retire yet. It was a sunny autumn day, and the streets were crowded and noisy. Tom enjoyed his walk home, which took about half an hour, and he liked people watching while doing so. As he walked through a quiet, empty street, just a block away from the busy and chaotic city center, he was suddenly ambushed. Some thugs had followed him from the moment he left the bank, and they had waited for a good moment to carry out their plan. They surrounded him and demanded he give them access to the bank's vault, and they threatened to hurt him if he didn't do what they asked. "You don't understand, I don't even have access to the vault. I don't have the code," Tom exclaimed, terrified and confused at what was happening to him. The men didn't believe him, though, and they thought he was just trying to escape. At that point, one of the thugs pulled out a gun and swayed it around, threatening to shoot Tom if he didn't give them the code. Tom was just about to cry out that he did not even have the code, but then he heard another voice coming from behind him. "Get away from him! Leave that man alone!" a woman called out to the thugs. They stopped, confused, not understanding what she was doing. "Keep your distance, lady, or I'll shoot you too!" one of them exclaimed. However, that woman was not going to take his shit. "Listen here, you little bandit. You wouldn't survive in prison for one day, and believe me, I can know. Get out of here before the police arrive or you'll regret it." Moments later, they heard the sound of police sirens and they ran into a back street, disappearing just as quickly as they had shown up. Tom stared at them with his mouth open for a few seconds before realizing that he should thank the woman. Tom sat down next to her and they just talked for a while. Tom told her about his family and his job, and Sophie, in turn, shared the story about how she became homeless and told him about what it was like to live on the streets. After nearly 2 hours, Tom realized that he was getting hungry, and he offered to buy them some lunch, but Sophie declined. It was clear that she did not like accepting help, but Tom was not going to give up so easily. "Sophie, I get it. I get that you don't like others to feel bad for you or even help you. You must understand that I have to repay you one way or another. You saved my life, after all. Please tell me what it is that you want, and I will make sure you get it." Sophie looked away from him, and it seemed like she was thinking about it. However, what she asked for was something he never expected. Upon hearing what she wanted, Tom asked her, "Are you sure that's what you want?" Sophie nodded, determined and not wanting to change her request. Tom replied that he would make it happen, and he would come find her at this same spot the next day. He quickly got up and left, turning away from her to hide his tears. He couldn't believe what she was asking him for. With a blueprint in hand, they began preparations. Mary took care of the spa bookings and chose a heartfelt card. Tom organized the art exhibit visit and planned a special meal for the evening. Every detail was meticulously looked after. The air was filled with anticipation. As night fell, they looked at each other, excitement evident in their eyes. Tomorrow was the day to make Sophie feel as cherished as she made them feel. They stood before a lavish hair salon, the windows displaying stylish haircuts and transformations. Tom turned to Sophie, his eyes shining with mischief and joy. "How about a new look to go with that shower?" he offered, hoping to catch her completely off guard. The world seemed to whirl around Sophie. The salon, Tom's gesture, the possibility of looking and feeling different. It was overwhelming. Tears brimmed in her eyes, a blend of gratitude and surprise. This is too much," she whispered, her voice catching. But behind her initial reluctance was a glimmer of hope, a desire to embrace this unexpected kindness. As Sophie stepped out of the salon, she wasn't just leaving behind a hairdresser's chair, but also a cocoon, emerging renewed and ready for the world. The sun was beginning to set as Tom and Sophie approached a beautifully maintained apartment complex. With a playful smile, Tom turned to Sophie. "I hope you're ready for another surprise." Sophie, feeling both excited and overwhelmed, nodded hesitantly. Inside, they took the elevator up to the 3rd floor. As the doors opened to a well-lit corridor, Tom led the way and Sophie could hardly keep her curiosity at bay. Stopping in front of apartment 307, Tom knocked gently. The door opened to reveal a beaming Mary. Without hesitation, she pulled Sophie into a heartfelt embrace, a gesture that melted away any remnants of apprehension. The conversation steered towards the extraordinary day Sophie and Tom had experienced. Mary listened intently, occasionally interjecting with tales of her own adventures with Tom from their earlier days. The stories seamlessly wove the past and present together, creating a tapestry of memories and shared experiences. They settled into deeper conversations, discussing dreams, aspirations, and the unexpected turns of life. The tea acted as a soothing balm, making the evening even more intimate and reflective. Though it was just one evening, the connection between the trio was palpable. Sophie felt as if she had known Tom and Mary for ages. The bond they formed was unmistakable and promised many more shared moments in the future. As the hours rolled by, the room was filled with an aura of contentment and gratitude. As she moved towards the door, she paused and looked back at the living space. "Your home," she started, choosing her words carefully. "It's more than just walls and furniture. It has a warmth, a soul." Her gaze lingered on the couch, the kitchen, and the hallway, appreciating the lived-in feel of the place. "It's felt like a home, even if just for a day," she confessed. "Sophie," he began, "there's something else we haven't told you." Seeing her puzzled expression, Mary stepped in. "This apartment, Sophie, it isn't ours." Tom added quickly, seeing the confusion deepen in her eyes. "We wanted to give you more than just a day of comfort. We wanted to give you a new start." Mary squeezed his hand, taking over. "This is your home now, if you'd like it to be." Sophie's heart raced. Her eyes darted between the couple, trying to decipher the truth from their faces. Could it be? Clearing his throat, Tom ventured, "There's more, Sophie. It's not just about the apartment." He hesitated, choosing his words. "I'd like to offer you a position at the bank I work at. It's an entry-level role, but it's a start." Mary chimed in, her voice is soft yet firm. "We believe in you, Sophie. Everyone deserves a chance to start over, to carve out a path for themselves. This is your chance, a stepping stone to a brighter future." The room was charged with hope, the undeniable promise that with support and determination, Sophie could reshape her destiny. As the evening shadows deepened, the apartment seemed to glow with an ethereal light. It wasn't just about bricks and mortar anymore. It was about hope, trust, and the unwavering belief in human kindness. For Sophie, the world that had once seemed so bleak and unforgiving now held the shimmer of possibility. And as she clutched the keys, the emblem of her new beginning, she felt a strength she hadn't known in years.